All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're not just talking about writing code. Oh no. We're talking about a philosophy, a secret art form, really, that's been passed down through generations of developers. Think of this as your personal guide to writing code that achieves legendary status. Code so profound, so personal, that only you, its creator, can ever hope to understand it. So if you're kind of tired of writing that clear, simple, collaborative code, the boring stuff, then you are absolutely in the right place. We are about to go on a journey to learn the guarded techniques of the true masters, the ones whose work lives on in whispered legends, and of course, in really, really long debugging sessions. Before we get to the how-to, we have to understand the why. We've got to get the mindset right. See, the way of the ninja isn't about communication. It's about creating a challenge. True mastery isn't found in code that just anyone can read. It's in code that is a worthy puzzle for a chosen few. Your code is a fortress, and only the most dedicated deserve to find their way in. This quote, it just perfectly frames our purpose here. We're not trying to be difficult. We are sharpening the minds of our colleagues. That's it. We are forcing them to think, to learn, to grow. Every unreadable line of code is just a lesson in disguise. You're not a bad coder. You are a demanding teacher. And with that, our first lesson begins. The art a ninja must master above all else is stealth. Your code has to blend into the background, becoming impossible to track or even identify. We're going to learn how to make our logic disappear in plain sight. This, this gets right to the heart of our first principle. The most profound statements are often the shortest, right? So the less your code actually says, the more powerful it becomes. Let's explore how to achieve this elegant and, well, completely impenetrable silence. Just look at this thing. It's a masterpiece, a nested ternary operator. It's a single, beautiful, incredibly compact line of code. Is it readable? Absolutely not. But does it show how clever you are? You bet it does. Any developer who stumbles upon this will have to stop, scratch their head, and eventually come to you, the master, for enlightenment. Remember, shorter is always better. A short variable, something like A or B, is the perfect camouflage. I mean, good luck trying to find that with a simple editor search. And its meaning? A complete mystery. Now, for the pro tip, listen close. A novice might use I for a loop counter. A true ninja uses X. Why? Because nobody expects it, especially in a loop that spans like 2 whole pages. Every ninja follows a sacred ritual for naming things. Your first choice, it should always be data. I mean, after all, every variable holds some kind of data, right? It's perfect. If that's already taken, you move to value. And if you find yourself really in a corner, just add a number. Data 1, item 2. This system guarantees your variable names are perfectly abstract and give away absolutely zero information. Okay, now that we've mastered the art of being invisible, it's time for the next level, misdirection. This is where we stop just hiding and we start actively confusing anyone who dares to read our code. And let me tell you, this is where the real fun begins. This ancient wisdom is our guide here. We're going to create names that seem to mean one thing but are just subtly different. We're crafting a landscape of beautiful, intentional chaos that requires the absolute utmost concentration to get through. Here's a great example of this technique in practice. Look closely. Data and date. Just one little letter apart. One holds user info, the other holds a timestamp. Mix them up all over your code. A quick scan becomes impossible. A single typo? Well, that's a problem for future you. Or even better, for someone else. This principle also works across the whole team. To really elevate the code base, you have to embrace diversity in naming. So if John's function to show a message is display message, then Peter's function to show a user should obviously be render user, and Anne's function to show an image must be paint image. They all do the same thing, sure, but this creates a rich tapestry of vocabulary, suggesting a deep complexity that just isn't there. And now for the ultimate move, the hat trick. You use the exact same prefix for wildly different actions. As you can see, print page uses a physical printer, but print text, that just puts text on the screen. So what does a function called print message do? Well, it opens a new window, of course. This forces everyone to abandon their assumptions and truly learn your unique system. Welcome to the final lesson, the hidden strike. This is the most advanced art, where our code does things that are completely and totally unexpected. A function's name becomes merely a suggestion, a simple cover for its true secret purpose. A function, just like the DAO, should not be limited by its name. It should be free to flow, to perform multiple, totally unrelated tasks. A function called validate email should naturally also display an error message and then maybe ask the user to re-enter their email. I mean, why use three functions when one can do the job? So let's consider a simple case. A function named isReady. What could be more harmless? What could it possibly do? Well, the obvious answer, the one any junior developer will give, is that it checks if a component is ready and returns a simple true or false. That's what it looks like it does anyway. But are we here to do the obvious? Of course not. Because while it's returning that simple Boolean value, our little isReady function is also secretly changing global variables, writing logs to a database, and launching a silent update process in the background. This is the hidden strike, a beautiful, unexpected side effect that ensures your code is always full of surprises. Okay, we've walked the path of the programming ninja. We've learned to hide, to misdirect, and to strike from the shadows. But now, let's pull back the curtain for a second and talk about what the true path to mastery really looks like. Now, you've probably detected the heavy, heavy dose of irony here. These so-called ninja tricks are not secrets to success. They are something else entirely. Every single technique we've discussed today is what's known in the biz as an anti-pattern. And that's just a fancy way of saying these are well-documented ways to make your code brittle, confusing, and completely impossible to maintain. They are the exact opposite of what a master developer actually does. Because here's the real takeaway. The marks of a true master are not clever tricks. They're things like clarity, communication, and empathy. You write code for humans first and machines second. You value clarity way more than being clever. And you treat your code base like a shared garden that everyone can tend to, not a fortress that you alone have to defend. The real key is empathy for your teammates and, honestly, for your future self who's going to have to look at this code in 6 months. And this brings us to our final question for you. Think about the code you write every single day. Is it serving to enlighten and empower your colleagues, or is it just a clever puzzle that forces them to spend their time sharpening their minds inside the debugger? The choice, of course, is always yours.